With 33% unemployment rate amongst Nigerians' productive segment, coupled with an economy in deep double-digit inflation, predictions have been dire regarding when the nation would finally overcome her security challenges. Government's expressed intention to regulate access to social media platforms has thus far failed to win her any favors at home and abroad. And security analysts say this is another sure way that government has been creating avoidable stumbling blocks on its own path. Joining us now from Arise Abuja studio to have a greater discussion around this is Chief George Agbakahi, a businessman, politician, and member of the All Progressives Congress. We'd like to find out from him what the government must do to avoid the obvious pitfalls while working with greater focus towards dragging the nation back from the precipice. Welcome to the program. Good morning, sir.
Thank you very much for having me.
Well, Chief Agbakahi, I recall that when you were on this same program sometime last year, and Nigerians were asking that President Buhari should sack the service chiefs, you were of the view that that will not necessarily solve the problem. Now, more than a year later, we've seen the service chiefs changed. We've even seen, the Inspector General of Police change. But the problem of insecurity in Nigeria has not disappeared. If anything, some people express the view that it's even getting worse. Now, where do you think the fault lines are beyond change of personnel? What do we need to do, particularly in the light of what is happening in the Southeast? Your, political zone. We have seen what has happened in Imo State, Owerri, Olu. We have seen the governor of Abia State shutting down or imposing curfew on 2 major cities. This morning, we've seen reports about how there's been an attack on this Zone 13 police headquarters in Anambra. What do you think government needs to do to make this environment safe and secure for everyone beyond personalities?
Yeah, quite all right. I'm glad that you observed that last year when we discussed a similar issue, I did tell you that the problems is not only related to sacking of the service chiefs then. And now you see that is not the problem. I think Nigerian security problems are varied. And security is something that concerns each and every one of us, in spite of your religious, political, and social affiliation, And recently, if you see what is happening as per security-wise in country, in most cases, it's also turning out to be political, But like I also said in one of your, programs, I think the issue of, regional security outfit is key, to unraveling criminality in our country. If you can see in the Southwest, with their security outfit, I think the incidences of criminality, banditry, as well as kidnapping, it has kind of reduced in the Southwest. Now that we have the Eastern Security Outfit, I think this incidence of insecurity in the Southeast will now be curtailed. That's the way I look at it. But the point is that I believe it will be very, very vital for all these regional security outfits to also work in alliance, with the, federal, security, apparatus. That would be a step in the right direction.
Thank you, sir. I also want to talk to you about another issue in the front burner. Calls for the resignation of the Minister of Communication, Dr. Issa Pantami. These calls have been made by PDP, the opposition, the main opposition party in Nigeria, as one would expect, But also, just as a Nigerian, what are your thoughts on the fact that a minister in the cabinet of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, which is one of the 3 most terrorized countries in the world, Nigeria is right down there with Iraq and Afghanistan, even Syria is number 4. We have a man like that who has made the ugliest, the most vile of comments towards who he has described as unbelievers. Obviously, he has said he has since reached some kind of enlightenment and has recanted those earlier thoughts. But what is your thinking? What should be done with this kind of situation that we're in now, where there is, you're aware, a trust deficit with the government that will only increase with this kind of situation?
I think the issue with the Minister of Communication, is one that I've only read, the pages of newspapers and on the social media. I think his stay in office, he's staying in the office at the behest of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And I think the President has to look into it, whether he's comfortable having him as Minister of Communication. But my understanding is that, based on what I have read in the social media and as well as pages of newspapers, the minister has, pointed out that these were views that he espoused, over 15, 20 years ago, when he was probably, a young man and perhaps a student. But my view on this is that, the government needs to look into it and look at the authenticity, of all these stories and allegations, before making a decision on the fate, of the minister. That is what I have to say at this point.
Okay, we're going to a quick break now, but I want to ask you. Okay, I want to ask you about insecurity in the eastern part of Nigeria. If you heard the interview we had with Professor George Agbakahi just now, you talked about the new security apparatus in the east, which is Eweagu. But there's also calls as regards the ESN saying that there are squabbles for legitimacy. ESN, Eweagu, vis-a-vis what happened in Imo. We'll take all of this after the quick commercial break. All right, welcome back. We still have Chief George Agbakahi, a businessman, politician, and member of the All Progressive Congress, and we're talking about myriads of issues. So I was talking about peace, and I mean the insecurity challenge in the southeast region of Nigeria. And you talked about the new security apparatus formed by the governor. And I was talking about the discord between a group called the ESN and Eweagu, because there's been this back and forth. So we don't even know what's the security apparatus, and there's been threat made by the ESN as regards, the forming of Eweagu. And also, I want your take on the Wari incident. The former Secretary General of Police was so quick to blame IPOB. Did blame IPOB, said they caused that fracas. The governor said it's political. I mean, help us make sense of all that is happening in the eastern part of the country, the insecurity. And it's not only in that state, other states of the country, other states of the southeast of Nigeria.
I think the issue of security is very significant, in a democratic setting. We all know that, political stability, economic development, and security, they are interrelated. And when there is no efficient security in a particular state or in the nation at large, that is a huge issue. In light of what is going on in the Igbo region, which is southeast, I think it is ironical for us to start comparing, Ebubedike, which is like, an Igbo Security Institution or outfit, with ESN, which is being run by IPOB. I believe Ebubedike is a mainstream, Igbo security institution, which all of us, all of us that are Igbo leaders ought to support, to fight, in order to fight criminality in the Southeast region. With respect to what happened in Owerri, Imo State, I think a couple of weeks ago, and coincidentally, I was in Owerri at that point. It was very unfortunate, like you said, the Inspector General of Police had alluded it to IPOB, and there has been, some leaders of the Southeast that had said that it's politically motivated. To me, it is hard to say at this time which one is the truth. In Imo State recently, there has been a lot of political bickering, among various political leaders of the state. We all know, the issues with the former governor of the state, Rochas Okorocha, and the way, the government, has tried to confiscate most of his properties, indicating that they were done with stolen access of Imo State. So there has been some elements, in the state that have adduced, what happened, relating it, to the issue between Rochas Okorocha and the state. But I don't think there has been any investigation or intelligence to that matter. So I think that is what is left with the state government as well as federal government to really investigate, and find out what actually happened, and what led to it. Because it is important and critical, to get to the bottom of what happened in Owerri, Imo State. Why? Because we all know that the prison, Nigerian prison, the state police headquarters that was also burned, they are all, in close radius with the government house. So for such, a big, in my view, terrorist attack to occur in a place that is pretty close to the government house, in the police headquarters and in the prison, is very, very difficult for me to comprehend it. So that is why I say that there has to be a thorough investigation to find out the root cause of that particular matter. But apart from that, we all know that in the area, in terms of insecurity in the land, it is very, very important for us to look at the root causes, of this insecurity in the land. We have to also focus attention at issues of, unemployment. We have to focus attention at issues, of deteriorating, poverty situation in the land, which has metamorphosed into, kidnappings, banditry, robbery, and so forth and so on. These are all the issues we have to, collectively, look at.
Well, Chief Agbakahi, it's very good. You've drawn attention to certain things we need to do something about. Poverty, unemployment, insecurity. Yes, many Nigerians will agree with you that Nigeria is facing a very difficult situation at the moment. On the front page of this day today, we're told that revenue has fallen by 12.8%. Expenditure has risen by 7%. Unemployment is 33%. Inflation is 18.17%. Very briefly, if you can just respond to that, because we have to go. We have a live coverage from Bayelsa. Briefly, before we say thank you.
Okay. Well, in terms of the economic situation in the country, I think despite numerous reforms, international loans and, restructuring programs, since the inception of democratic rule in 1999, it's still sad that about 85 million Nigerians live in abject poverty. But the current political and economic reality in the land, we also have to, look at the, coronavirus pandemic, as one of the, issues that has led to this economic downturn in the country. But to me, the current government has also done a whole lot in addressing these economic issues. For example, let's look at the human development area. There has been social investment programs to address poverty.
Chief George Agbakahi,
through all these homegrown school feeding programs.
Chief Agbakahi,
where, conditional cash transfer.
Chief Agbakahi,
yes.
Well, sorry to interrupt you. Unfortunately, that's all we'll be able to take.